Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Career to Coach Spotlight. And so I'm so excited to bring our guest today to you. And so I know she is full of so much wisdom. And so I can't wait for her to be able to share her background and just share how she was able to come into the coaching industry and just all her wisdom that comes along with that. And so I don't want to waste any time. I want to jump in and really give her a chance to kind of share because I know she has so much wisdom. But I would like you to welcome Dr. Ukpong Nwankwo.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Monica, for inviting me into your space and for doing this for the early coaches. This is so inspiring, and I just love what you're doing. So,
Uh,
thank you for doing this. So, busy professional women hire me to help them feel re energized, release excess weight, and feel fabulously fit. As a doctor for 37 years, I loved and caring for other people. But over time, the demands of the job led to weight gain and fatigue. And then a mammogram revealed that I had an aggressive left breast cancer.
mm,
Have you ever been afraid? I was afraid.
I'm
I
sure.
was shaking in my boots. I was like, how did I get here?
Mm,
I have spent so much time taking care of other people. But the only one person I didn't care for was myself. So that really forced me to prioritize my health. And after treatment and losing 55 pounds and keeping it off, I was able to regain my energy, my well being, and allow me to create a fabulously fit life I've always wanted. And so that inspired me to want to help other women, especially 50s and above, to begin to prioritize themselves and live fabulously fit.
yeah.
And then I embarked on a journey of self-improvement and invested in John Maxwell's certification coach. I invested in other programs like Richmond Dean's program where we met,
Yeah.
Pedro Adil,
Hmm.
just to learn more of how other people have done it. And so I want to say to you, the new coach, and by the way, I just started this lifestyle coaching like during COVID.
Okay.
So I'm still a recent or new coach, so to say. So if I can do it, you can do it. So coming from a background of medicine to now what I'm currently doing, along with being a doctor, is lifestyle coaching.
Nice. And that was going to be actually one of my next questions. Is like how did you fully? So you're still practicing as well as currently in the coaching industry, and likewise, I'm a physical therapist, so both in healthcare, right? And then but being able to, but still building my coaching business. So what are some of the challenges, or what's the like what I don't know, what are some challenges that you've been facing, or that you can kind of share with like a newbie coach that may be in that same position? Because I know a lot of people they're in their careers. They may be afraid to kind of like completely leave their career to start a coaching business, but maybe being able to kind of start part time or something like that would be something of interest. So,
I think
like,
starting part-time is a very good place to start. I've utilized my lunch breaks. I've utilized pockets of time during my day. I've also utilized after hours and weekends to do my coaching program. So I currently have a client and I meet with her during the day when I'm less busy. So I'm still able to fit it in and also provide the value. I also provide her online resources. She has access to me on WhatsApp. So there's ways in which you can make it fit, even with a full-time job, because I'd have a full-time job Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. But you can make it work. Like my first challenge that I did was during my lunch break.
wow.
I did it from 12:30 p.m. to 1 p.m. And it was successful because the content is the same. Nobody actually knew that I was using my lunch break until I told them, just to make it relatable that this
Yeah,
is what I'm doing.
yeah,
So it's not as difficult as people think. You can actually make it work.
yeah, for sure. Yeah, and just like you said, that's a great point because I mean, I think that's the thing is we're trying you can do it, but it does require some sacrifices. So sometimes it's maybe a lunch break, and for me it's like getting up a little bit earlier, right? So a lot of it's interesting because a lot of my clients are international, so it actually helps out though. But then I actually do a lot of my appointments before I even go to work. And so yeah, it's definitely possible, but it's just like how do you like what's your commitment to your success in your business and like what are some of the things that, how resourceful can you be to kind of start to figure out how to make that fit into your business and then or make your business work, right? And then so now as far as you kind of going from healthcare to business, like that seems like a big jump, right? So I know for me I had been doing some things in business even before I started coaching, but I mean, for you, was that a big transition? Like, what are some of the mindset shifts that you had to make going from the medical industry to coaching and business?
Well, the mindset of having like a regular medical practice is that you don't have to necessarily go out there and seek out your clients. You set up practice and they typically will get to know you and come to you. But you, of course, you still have to tell people that you're in town. But when you're doing like a coaching business, you have to be intentional in setting out content for your who so that they can be drawn to you. You want to attract them. So I had to learn how to create content that my busy professional women are looking for. For instance, the busy professional woman age above 50, she's successful. She's climbed up the ladder. So she doesn't have time to cook. She doesn't have time to exercise. So I have to speak the language that she understands that, okay, I'm here for you, sweetheart.
I lost your
I
sound
can
there.
help you with, are you hearing me still?
Okay, it can't. You're back now.
Okay. So I speak to them that I can tailor your meals to suit your schedule. I can help you find pockets of time to exercise so that you can do it all within your day. So it was for me learning how to post content that resonates with who I'm trying to help. And also begin to create a Facebook group. I never did that before. Begin to nurture them, run challenges, and then help the clients with their journey. So it's all step by step, taking one little step at a time.
Hmm.
It might be you want to register your company first and then just set up a Facebook group, have a phone. You don't even have to do a Zoom call. You can pick up the phone and call them and do a challenge for 5 days. Before you know it, you're getting better. You're knowing what works and what doesn't work. So there's that learning curve. And then you have to be patient with yourself. You have to be patient. And then, you begin to see progress. You begin to make progress.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And so it's interesting because I know sometimes when that new coach is, or when somebody's kind of end of career and they're wanting to transition into coaching, they're kind of questioning like, do I have what it takes? Do I have anything that people will pay me for? They're kind of questioning whether they even have something of value to share. And I think just you even sharing your story a moment ago about how you came into I mean, obviously you have a medical background, but how you came into becoming a health coach is because of your own life experiences. And I think that sometimes a lot of the newbies or the ones considering going into coaching don't realize that a lot of people come into coaching as a result of their own personal experiences. It's like we have our own personal experiences, and because of that, we go on a journey to improve ourselves, like you said, personal development and things like that. And as a result of kind of improving our own personal lives, it's like, oh man, now I can help somebody else. And so I think that's powerful and just understanding like in your story, like, hey, like, yeah, I have a medical background. And so you already had the credentials to help somebody in healthcare, but it really was that change in your own health that really sounded like it sparked you to wanting to kind of go on that journey to even learn even more how to do that. And so that's super inspiring. And so how did you decide to come up with the group that you would work with? Was it just kind of based on like who you see yourself being? 'Cause I know that's another thing too, is sometimes who we end up work with are people that we were like 10 years before or something like that. Like, how did you decide
Yes.
who you want to work with?
I decided that based on who I was 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I was 50 years old. That was when I hit this crisis. And so I can relate with that population, and I believe they can also relate with me. So you can look at any crisis in your life or any thing that has, whether it's a transition that has happened. So those are areas where your story is, where you've helped yourself. And like Monica said, you can also help other people. So it's where you've been helped yourself, whether it is overcoming grief. Some people, there's a lady that we heard on the boot camp, she had overcome grief, and she's helping other women overcome grief through her framework. So if you've overcome bankruptcy, yes, there are a lot of people who want to hear from you how to overcome that. You know, they would wish that someone there would be able to walk them through that process. This is like what I do now is what I wish I had had when I was passing through that.
Yeah, for sure.
So you have something valuable to offer. It's only that because you're commonizing it, because you know it in and out, so you're commonizing it, but someone else, that is going to be a difficulty for them. And so they need you to walk them through that process.
Yeah, yeah. And I think that's a powerful point you said. Just like who you were 10 years ago, and you think that what you're doing now is what you wish you had back then. And so just realizing that sometimes it doesn't take you having to be like super far ahead of somebody, but just being a few steps ahead of somebody will help them move through those challenges or move through their life or make those transformations a lot quicker than if they're doing it on their own. And then just having support. And so there's tons of people out there, like you just said, that they're looking for somebody that can help guide them through these life experiences, because we don't a lot of these things we don't get taught in school, right? Like there's so much life experience. That's what, well, I guess that's why it's called life experience, right? We don't get taught in school. We have to go through those challenges, but if you have somebody that's gone through the minefield before you and that can guide you, then you get to avoid some of those barriers and keep all your limbs and all that stuff, right? um but yeah, so awesome. And then, so what would you say some of the mindset should do? Were there any major like mindset shifts or challenges that you had, like kind of transitioning? So it sounds like you had a medical profession before, and then you went into like just kind of coaching as another type of business. So is that right? You were already in business, but you just kind of made that additional shift.
Well, I still had to, I set up a different business for my coaching, different from my medical practice.
Gotcha.
So I actually started all over. So it's, you have to get off the mindset that it's difficult because it's doable. You see, Monica is doing it, I'm doing it, so you can also do it. In fact, before I continue on the mindset change adjustments that I have to make, if you are a new coach, just slide into Monica. You hear all the goals she's dropping. She's going to handhold you so that you can grow up, to be the coach that you need to be. So you need to contact Monica after this show, and so that she can walk you through the process of being a new coach.
That's for
So those are the minds. Yes, the mindset that I had to deal with is that marketing is not difficult. I need to learn it, and and we have to be careful of the language we use. Sometimes you use the words like "I have to." No, you don't have to. You say "I get to." When you say that, it eases your mind and puts in a framework to be able to succeed.
sure.
So I had to start dealing with my mind that it's not too difficult. I can do it. It takes one step after the other. It's not just how to do it, but who. Who is your who? Here is Monica. Monica is your who. So I now looked for the who that I needed to be able to, start getting into that process of being a coach. And this is someone I wish that I had when I was starting. I wish I had Monica when I was starting. And then I wouldn't, have that trial and error and have, the mindset blocks. There was actually at the point I felt like giving up. I felt like shutting it down and just being done with it because when you're a high achieving person, when
Yeah,
things don't happen fast enough, you feel frustrated and you're like,
absolutely.
I'm done with this.
Hmm.
Let me just shut it down. It's not working. But you have to be patient and give it time and surround yourself with people who know more than you, who are a few steps ahead of you, because they've already made those mistakes. So I'm in a group another group that Monica is in, and just being in a refresher course with Tracy, that
Yeah.
got me on stock, how to, get my clients, my leads, and things like that. So you don't have to do this alone. There are people who have done it. They are very good at what they're doing. And just slide into Monica's DM. She will walk you through.
Absolutely, absolutely. Definitely will, and I appreciate that, Ukpong. And then so tell me, I mean, just like if you had to, if you were sitting down, I mean, obviously they're watching this, but what are some of like maybe the top like 2 to 3 things that you would share with somebody? I mean, you dropped a lot of wisdom already, but are there any things that kind of stick out that you would say like absolutely like for a new entrepreneur or a new coach that you would recommend for them?
I just want to tell you that you are enough. Your message is strong enough. Your message just needs to be fine-tuned. So you need to work with a coach who will help you narrow down your niche, because the more specific you are, the more your target audience will be drawn to your message, because you're speaking their language, you're speaking directly to them. So first of all, know that you're enough. Your message is great, is good enough. And then you have to niche down. You have to be, really define who you're talking to and stay with it. And you need to be patient, because it's with patience that you will bear a lot, you will get work with who you want. And then remember why you want to help them. You
Yeah,
need to remember your why, because your why will hold you through the days that things might not look like they're working, but you know that you have a message that they need. You know, I'm a person of faith, and I believe that people pray to God to help them, but He sends people, ordinary human beings like you and me, to help. So He has sent Monica to help you. So don't, you're just going to shorten your time. You're going to shorten the learning curve. You see, when you have a problem and you want to get here, there is that valley, and what the coach does is, instead of you going through the valley and coming back up, they put a bridge and you just walk across and
love
you
that.
get to where you want to go.
Yeah. I love that analogy. Yeah, for sure. It's just kind of showing, helping you kind of bridge that gap and cross over those valleys and get there a lot smoother and easier. So yeah, love that, love that. But yeah, it's actually you touched on something that's really that I think is extremely important, if not one of the most important things when you're starting any kind of business and definitely going into coaching is the why. Like that's so important, and I'm glad you mentioned that because that was actually going to be one of my questions. Is like what are your thoughts around like kind of the why or even what's your why? But yeah, I just feel like that's really what keeps us going and helps us, because I think we all have those because they call it an emotional roller coaster, right? Because you're gonna have the ups, the downs, and that's just a natural part of life as well as business for sure. I think it's even more in business, right? But I think that why and really understanding why you're doing it, who you're like what's the why now, like understanding why it's a priority, but even understanding like just why am I doing this, why, and is it for impact, is it to change my life, and what is it that's really gonna keep you going, it's gonna make you wake up, it's gonna make you do those uncomfortable things when you don't feel like it, because you know that at the end of the day you're going to accomplish that ultimate outcome, that why that you're striving for. So I mean, I don't know if you have any other things to share about the why, or if you I know you mentioned a little bit about it already, but I definitely think that that is a huge part of success.
Yes. So whenever, that thought comes across to me that I'm not making progress, I think about the value my program brings to the busy woman who is trying to release weight, who has tried so many diets and failed. And I have a plan that they don't have to struggle. They just add and they begin to lose weight effortlessly. Why wouldn't I want to share that with someone who
Sure.
has been struggling and been so frustrated? Because if when I remember when I tried to lose weight and I was so frustrated, and now what I have now, I was like, I wish I had had this. And then it would have taken away all the stress and all the trying to do this diet, trying to fit into this mold, and then I couldn't. And then the guilt when I cheated to, eat because I was hungry and no one had a solution for me.
Yeah.
Because Joan Rivers says that diet like clothes have to fit you. And so that's what I preach now. So that's my own message and that's my why. So why would I not want to share that? So that's where you have to find and dig down into your why into a very deep level. So that
Absolutely.
when those days, those gloomy days come, especially women, we have ups and downs, hormonal changes, you don't feel good, you feel sad. Then I remind myself, this is why I do this. I want people to lose weight effortlessly without that stress and that frustration.
Yeah.
So that's my why. So I'm saying that so you know your why and dig down. See, Monica's why is that she doesn't want you as a new coach to be frustrated because you're not getting results. You don't know what to do. She's going to give you a step by step by step. This is what you do as a new coach. This is the next step. This is the next step. This is the next step. So that's the value that she brings to you.
Awesome, awesome. And I mean, and that's a huge, your industry is huge, Ukpong, because I mean, there's so many people that try these yo-yo diets. And I mean, I'm guilty, right? You go on a diet, you exercise for a couple of weeks, and then you go back on your, your thing. And like, I just went on vacation. And so now I'm coming back from vacation. I'm like, yeah, all that weight that I had lost, like I kind of gained it back because I was eating, you go to Europe and you feel like you got to try all the pastries. And so I'm like, I ate all this stuff that I don't normally eat, right? But yeah, but I mean that's natural. I mean, there's so many people, women that are struggling with that and the weight loss and just and that I think a lot of that ties into, when we don't feel comfortable about who we are and our weight and things like that, then that ties into our self-esteem and just how we show up in all other areas of our life. So you're definitely helping transform lives and just by helping them one health wise, right? To not have so much to not have all those health challenges, but even just with, just who they are as a person and being able to show up as their best self. So I know you're definitely transforming lives. And so, and now share, I mean, take a few minutes to just kind of share, like if somebody wants to learn more about your program, how they can find you, how they can potentially work with you, like how would they contact you?
For sure. I'm on Facebook as Ukpong Nwankwo, and I do have a free Facebook group where I offer a lot of value. I'm also on Instagram as Nwankwo J. So, people can contact me through those two, but mainly Facebook, Ukpong Nwankwo. And then I do have a free Facebook group there where you can join, get a lot of value. And yeah, so thank you so much, Monica, for
Yeah.
bringing me here to be able to encourage your new entry level coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. And I appreciate you. I definitely appreciate your time and just your wisdom. You're full of so much wisdom and just being able to share your journey because I know you've been an inspiration for many. And then just even seeing how they can even be able to still work a career and still be able to start their coaching business. I think it's definitely a great, just a great image for people to see and understand. Like you don't have to walk away from your job completely. You can still go after your dream. You can still, begin to make bigger impacts. And I think because that was one thing for me, like I knew I was making a difference in healthcare and what I was doing, but I just felt like I had a bigger path, a much a bigger way to make an impact. And so it's like how do you juggle that? And so it's possible, not always easy, but it's possible. And so I mean I thank you for sharing your journey because I think that definitely is going to help inspire a lot of other people. Because I know as a doctor, I know you are busy, busy, busy. And so yeah, so just being able to share your story and wisdom with us, I appreciate you. And so, and just like she said, guys, what I will do is at the in the comment section in the post, you'll see the links and all those things of how you can actually reach out to her and find out how she can help you on your weight loss journey, so you can live fabulously and fit after 50, right? And so
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, so absolutely. And again, thank you very much. And guys, I look forward to coming to you next time for another Career to Coach Spotlight. See you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.